Hi, this is Lee Lubin. Let's go ahead and play. And you'll need a block today, or you don't have to have one, but it would be helpful. And if you don't, go ahead and grab a rolled up blanket or a pillow from your couch. We're going to start lying on our backs when you're ready. Either legs extended if there's no back pain, or bend the knees. Let the feet be as wide as the sticky mat and let the knees knock in. Taking at least a few moments to notice where you're beginning and that you've arrived on your mat. As you're ready to continue, on your exhale, hug the knees in towards the chest. On your inhale, the knees move up towards the ceiling and you can feel yourself rock towards your tailbone. On your exhale, squeezing in. Continuing, letting the mind's eye focus on the sensations moving across the sacrum, that bone on the back of your bottom. The next time you hug the knees in, let them open wide and then towards the front of the mat so you get closer to the tailbone. On exhale, the knees towards the armpits and squeeze in. On inhale, wide like butterfly, and the knees move away from the face towards the front of the mat. On exhale, they come towards the body and then towards the midline. 1 or 2 more cycles. Feeling that rocking on the sacrum. The next time the legs come in will be the last. We'll set the feet down and cross the left ankle over the right knee. Flex the left foot. Lift the right leg. Reach through the hole with the left hand and grab behind the right thigh. On your inhale, extend the right heel up towards the ceiling. On your exhale, bend the knee, squeezing in. Several more breaths like this. Letting the mind's eye notice the shift of sensation in the left hip. You might be able to feel the muscles sliding past each other or sliding past the bones. Taking 1 more breath here. The next time you bend the knee in, release the hands, keep the legs as they are, and set the right foot down. Arms to a T so you're still in the figure 4. Letting the whole leg package drift towards the right so the left foot's standing on the mat. Move the top knee, the left knee away from your face. And notice any sensations in the belly, in the hip. On the next inhale, coming back to center, undoing the legs to neutral, then right ankle over the left knee, lift up the left leg, reach through the hole with the right hand and grab behind the left thigh. Make sure the right foot is flexed as if you're standing on it. On inhale, the left heel reaches up towards the sky, the leg straightens. On exhale, bending the knee and squeezing in. Moving with your breath. And letting the mind's eye notice the change in sensation in the right hip or thigh or low back. The next time you bend the knee in will be the last. Releasing the hands to a T, set the left foot down, it stays in the same position. The whole leg package goes towards the left, so the right foot standing on the mat. Letting your right knee move away from your face towards the bottom of your mat. Taking a breath cycle or so, noticing any sensation in the right hip, the right belly, the right low back. On the next inhale, coming back up to center, undoing the legs to neutral, walk the feet in close to the bottom as wide as the outer hips, setting up for bridge pose. On your inhale, push into the hips and lift up about 1/3 of the way. On your exhale, lower down about half. On inhale, lift about a third. On exhale, lower a half from there. Continuing, going up a little bit more each time and down a little. Feeling the heat build up in the legs. The next time you come, you might eventually rise into the full version of your pose. On exhale, lower all the way down. On inhale, lift all the way up into bridge, pushing into the feet, lifting the hips. On exhale, lower down. 2 more times like this. The next time you come up, on your exhale, come down a third of the way. On inhale, up half. On exhale, down a third. On inhale, up half. Continuing, going down a little more each time, feeling the heat build up in the legs and in the belly until you eventually arrive with your bottom all the way on the mat. Taking one breath, acknowledging you've arrived back on the floor. Grabbing onto your block or your blanket. If you don't have one, you can simply squeeze the legs in, placing the block on its narrowest in between the legs, squeezing the legs in. Stage 1, knees bent. Stage 2, legs straight. On your exhale, twisting over any amount towards the right as much as you can without the shoulders and neck and jaw getting involved. On inhale, back to center. Continuing side to side. And really squeezing the block or the pillow or the blanket. Feeling that pressure between the legs. And you might start to feel some heat building up. Squeezing in. Letting your mind's eye focus on the pressure as you feel the heat and movement building. The next time you come over towards your left will be your last. When you come back to center, set the feet down, release the block, set it aside. You'll want it in a little bit, and you can grab onto the knees and rock and roll to sitting or roll onto your side and push yourself up. We'll meet on hands and knees, setting up for child's pose. Toes together, knees can be together or wide, yogi's choice. Bottom comes towards the heels. Arms are extended. On your inhale, lift the wrists, lift the elbows, come onto fingertips as the fingers pull forward. On exhale, back. Several more times. On the exhales, really feeling the hips and maybe the forehead ground. On your inhales, feeling the length through the torso. One more time. The next time you come into child's, stay. Feeling the forehead on the floor, the hips low. Walking the hands back towards you, pushing yourself back up to a comfortable seat. And you can sit cross-legged or you can sit in kneeling, any place that's comfortable for you. And we'll start our Ujjayi breath. That victorious breath that is a slight constriction of the back of the throat. If it's new to you, open the mouth and on inhale say ah, and on exhale ha. Then closing the mouth, letting the breath be through the nostrils, and still feeling the slight constriction, and letting the mind's eye watch the wave of the breath. Releasing the arms to the sides if they're not, sweeping the right arm up the right side of the body as the left hand comes to the floor. On exhale, coming back up. On inhale, Other side. On exhale, back to center. Feeling the length of the side body and the grounding of the hand. One last time. The next time your hand comes, you bend to the right side will be your last. And then we will set up for downward facing dog or half dog with a block in between the thighs. You can always do this in half plank and half dog. Otherwise, we'll meet in downward facing dog. On your exhale, pulling forward into plank or half plank, keeping the gaze down. On inhale, squeezing the block as you lift. Squeezing the block as you come forward. And letting the gaze be on your mat and your feet. You have arrived. Squeezing the block, and the mind's eye is focused on the sensation of squeezing in at the legs. You might feel some heat start to build. Next time you come into dog is your last. You can lower to the knees, remove the block. We'll meet all the way on our belly for locust. You can always grab onto a strap if you need it to interlace the hands behind the back. Bend the elbows, squeeze them together, straighten the arms, any amount. As you're ready, lift the wrists, lift the legs, locust pose. Let the gaze be down still, even though the head is probably lifted. Spread the toes, reach out the knuckles, reach out the toes. On your exhale, lowering down, a cheek to the mat, a hand to the low back. 1 or 2 breaths into the low back. Noticing if your mind has arrived in your body. Bringing the head back to neutral, interlacing the hands, switch the lace so it feels like you have a new finger. Bend the elbows, squeeze them together, straighten the arms any amount. As you're ready, on inhale, lift the wrists, lift the legs. Stage 1 stays here. If you have further to go, on your inhale, spread the legs a little wide. On exhale, squeeze them in. 2 more times. The next time the legs come in is the last, releasing down, a cheek to the mat, a hand to the low back. Watching the breath fill up the low back. Bringing the mind into the body. And watching the breath enliven the body. Bringing the hands back under the shoulders, pull the shoulders away from the floor, push up through plank or half plank, downward facing dog. Yogi's choice. You can stay steady, you can move a little bit, move your jaw around maybe. Stage 1 can surely lower to the knees. We'll meet with the right foot forward in low lunge. Left knee down, hands to the waist, thigh, or to the sky. On your inhale, pull the feet in towards you. On exhale, lengthen through the front knee, the back pinky toe. 2 more times, pulling in, feeling the heat of the muscles and the support as you extend. The next time you come into the full version, stay, but pretend you're trying to pull in and pretend you're trying to reach out. Let your gaze be straight ahead. Soften the tongue and the mouth, feeling the strength and support of the lower body. The heat building, the tongue softening. On your exhale, hands come down. Tuck the back toe, stepping back, downward facing dog, vinyasa, or child's pose, yogi's choice. meeting with the left leg forward. Feel free to lower to the knees to transition if you'd like. Hands to the waist, thigh, or the sky. On your inhale, pull the feet in towards you. On your exhale, lengthen out the front knee, the back pinky toe. 2 more times as your gaze is soft and forward. The next time you come into the full version, stay. But pretend you're trying to pull in even though nothing moves, and pretend you're trying to reach out. So your legs feel stable, probably pretty warm. Consider smiling. Taking one more breath there. On the next exhale, hands come down, tuck the back toe, lift the knee, try to step silently to plank, downward facing dog, vinyasa, or child's pose. We'll be meeting in standing. If you're in dog, inhale to tippy toes. On exhale, step or jump towards the front of your mat. Inhaling halfway, let the gaze be forward and down. Exhale, fold. Push through both feet to rise all the way up. On exhale, hands come through center, releasing the hands, letting the gaze be straight forward. Inhaling the arms back up, bending the knees, chair pose, Utkatasana. Feel free to bring the hands to the waist, letting the gaze be forward. Imagine squeezing a block in between the thighs so the legs are getting a little bit warm. Starting to weight the right foot. Lift up the left, step back to a high lunge, hands to the floor. You can always come to standing stage 1 and transition and meet us. Left hand to the block or the floor as you inhale, twisting towards your front leg, hand to the waist or the sky. On exhale, unravel, straighten the front leg and bow. On inhale, bend the front knee, twist towards the front leg. On exhale, straighten the leg and bow. Letting the mind's eye watch the sensation in the front hip and thigh and lower back. Maybe even the calf. But noticing the shift in the sensation, the building of heat, and noticing the ground or your leg when you fold, or the back foot. The next time you come into the pyramid, the straight-legged fold will be your last. Stepping the foot forward, forward fold. Inhale halfway, low back goes in and up. Exhale, fold. Push through both feet to rise up. Hands can always be to the waist. Let the gaze be forward as the hands come through center, releasing the hands so that they inhale right back up. On exhale, chair pose. Imagine a block in between the legs that you're gently squeezing in on. Soften the tongue and the mouth. Notice the breath moving as you squeeze that imaginary block. Starting to weight the left side a little bit more. You can always come to a forward fold to transition first. Stepping the right foot back to high lunge, hands come to the floor or the block. Right hand to the floor or the block. Inhale to twist towards your front leg in a twisting lunge. Exhale, unraveling, straightening the front leg and bowing, maybe noticing your back foot. On inhale, twisting. On exhale, folding. Inhale, bend the knee into the lunge and open. On exhale, hand down, fold. Couple more cycles. Letting the mind's eye watch the sensations change and move through the left leg. keeping that Ujjayi breath going if you can to feel the slight constriction in the throat. The next time the hand comes down and you come into the fold will be the last. Stepping forward, forward fold. Inhale halfway, letting the gaze look straight forward. Exhale, fold. Push through both feet to rise all the way up. Maybe looking up. On exhale, hands come down. Watching the hands move down you, noticing your feet as you lift the head back to neutral. Setting up for tree pose. We'll start to weight the right foot, bending let's take that back. Let's start to weight the left foot, bending the right knee, turning it out. The toe can be on the floor, on a block. The right foot can come anywhere that works. Hands to waist, heart center is the strongest, or arms towards the sky. If you can, let the gaze be forward. Push the leg into the foot into the leg. Especially if the foot's by the knee, push the knee back into the foot. Feeling the pressure between the foot and the leg. Feeling that there might be some heat building up there. Let the fingertips be soft. And that might create a wave of breath going a little upwards. To come out of the pose, hands come down, knee turns in, step the left foot back to warrior two. You might want your block as you extend into extended side angle. Right hand to the block. It can always be to the shin or to the thigh. On your inhale, straighten the front leg in triangle, maybe looking up. On exhale, bend the knee, top arm overhead. On inhale, maybe looking up. On exhale, letting the gaze be straight forward. If you find your mind leaves your body, let the gaze be forward. And as you move, the inner gaze is watching the sensation move through the right hip and change. Noticing the heat build up. The next time the arm comes up into triangle, really feel the reach through the fingers. Push through the feet, let the top arm pull you up. Turn the toes back to neutral. Actually, you guys are a little bit different, so step forward towards the front of your mat. I'm switching it up so I don't have to give you the back side. For real, starting to weight the right foot, bending the left knee, lifting it, turning it out, tree pose, Vikshasana. Hands to the waist, heart center, or towards the sky. Letting the gaze be forward if you can balance that way. And really push the leg into the foot into the leg. Feeling the heat start to build up there. Feeling the pressure. Feeling the support. Maybe let the fingertips soften and notice if the breath comes in easier or higher, which might lead to instability, which is fine. Smile and laugh at it. As the hands come down, the knee turns in, step the right foot back, warrior two, lengthening forward directly into extended side angle. Elbow to knee or hand to the floor of the block. Top hand, hip, sky or overhead. On your inhale, straighten the front leg into triangle, let the top arm move up. I'll encourage you actually to keep the gaze forward. As you exhale, bend the knee, lengthening the arm. So the first couple cycles, keep the gaze straight ahead, soft, and let the internal gaze watch the change in sensation in the front leg, the left leg. Noticing the heat building up, the steady, slow movement. Now possibly letting the gaze look up when you come into triangle. If it feels good on your neck, bringing it back to neutral as you extend, bending the knee. The next time the arm comes over towards the ceiling in triangle, stay, look at it, really reach through those fingertips. Imagine the fingertips pulling you up. Turn towards the front of your mat, stepping forward, or standing. Let's inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway, looking up. Exhale, hands down. You can step or jump back to plank or chaturanga. We'll lower onto the knees and we'll set up for a seated twist. Feel free to have a block handy. We'll bring the left foot, bend the left knee and bring the left foot near the right buttock. Stage 1, right foot goes to the inside, or if this is too hard, you can always take this version. Feel free to sit on a block if you're cattywampus, side to side. If you have further to go, the right leg comes over to the outside of the front of the left knee. Right hand to the floor, the block behind you. Push down to lengthen up through the left arm and twist. On your inhale, feel the spine unwind and grow tall. On your exhale, feel the squeezing of the belly and the heat. Several more cycles like this. Feeling the length of the inhale, the heat and stability of the exhale. I encourage you to keep the gaze at about eye level. Next time you come into the pose, stay for a breath cycle or two. If you have further to go, turn the chin and look over the front shoulder. Consciously being aware of the seat, the squeeze and heat in the belly. On the next inhale, slowly undo to neutral. You can undo the legs and sit back or forward to change, or you can lean forward, stand up, walking the hands towards the back to retwist your legs and arrive on the other side. Playful way. Sometimes it might be too much for you. Left hand comes behind you, right arm goes up, twisting towards the left. The hand can always come to the knee or the elbow. On your inhale, undoing, feeling the length of the spine. On the exhale, feeling the squeeze of the abdomen. On inhale, feeling your length. On exhale, feeling the squeeze. Several more cycles. I encourage your gaze to be at eye level. So you're not looking up, you're not looking down. The next time you come into the pose, stay, feeling the support of the squeeze in the belly and the heat. If you have further to go, you may turn the chin and look over the front shoulder. Taking another couple breath cycles. On the next inhale, slowly unraveling to neutral, undo the legs, and we'll transition onto our backs. Extending the legs out, interlacing the arms, hands, turning the palms inside out, arms overhead. If that's too hard, just bring your arms overhead towards the floor. Reaching through the heels, reaching through the palms, so you feel the length extending through the whole body. You might feel the muscles squeezing onto the bones, some heat and support building up. Taking another breath cycle here. Then let the legs soften as the hands come back up over the head to switch the interlace of the fingers. Turn the palms inside out. As the arms go overhead, reach out the heels, reach out the palms. Feeling the length of the body and the floor beneath you. Gently letting the legs soften as the arms come up. The legs go a little wider, the toes fall out to the side, the arms come out to the side, and we've arrived in Shavasana. Noticing all the sensations that our practice worked up in the body. Tingling, throbbing, whooshing, pulsing. Letting your mind's eye watch the sensations in the body. As you become aware of your body touching the mat and the floor. Starting to feel the heaviness of the back side of the body, even though there's still movement inside. Letting the eyes soften deep back into their sockets. Feeling the brain soften towards the back of the skull. The mind begins to quiet and ease. The ego may release, and you may be left floating in your own amazing beauty to receive Shavasana. Gently allowing awareness to drift back into the breath and eventually into the body. Inviting any movements you'd like back into the body. As you're ready, bending both knees, rolling onto your right side, using your right arm as a pillow and your left arm as a kickstand. Taking at least a full, complete breath on your side. As you're ready, pushing yourself up to any comfortable position, feel free to sit on something. It helps bring us a little bit more support and grounding. Hands can rest anywhere that's comfortable or at heart center in Anjali Mudra when you arrive. Grounding down into your seat to rebound up through each vertebrae all the way through the crown of the head, keeping that internal lift as the awareness drifts back to the grounding. So you feel your support, your body where you are, and the easy flow of the breath. May there be seeds of peace, and may all beings be at peace. Namaste.